Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Please join me in welcoming our television and webcast viewers. My name is Fred Mifflin, President of the Canadian Club of Toronto, and viewers, we're very pleased that you're participating with us today. For 120 years, the Canadian Club has been proud to provide a forum for leaders in every aspect of society to share their ideas with us and to challenge our thinking. We're committed to providing a welcoming venue for discussion and debate on issues that impact our daily lives. Through our programs and activities, we offer access to dynamic political, business, and public figures from around the world, like today's guest speaker, Arizona's Governor. Before I formally introduce the Governor, here's a snapshot of some of our upcoming events. Tomorrow, Thursday, October the 6th, Sharon Avery, President and CEO of the Toronto Foundation, will present the 15th Annual Vital Signs Report, our city's annual checkup, if you will. And on Friday, October 7th, our Canada 150 series continues with the Century Initiative panel, led by Dominic Barton, Chair of the Prime Minister's Advisory Council on Economic Growth, who will discuss why Canada needs more people to remain a leading global force for the next 150 years. To order your tickets or to learn more about the club, please visit us at canadianclub.org. You can also join the conversation via Twitter and Instagram by following us at CDNCLUBTO or by using that hashtag. And now our guest speaker. Arizona, or AZ as the locals like to call it, is a state of breathtaking landscapes, including the Grand Canyon. It's a popular destination for those of us who want to indulge in its agreeable weather, particularly in January, February, and March, when most Canadian temperatures are consistently below zero. About 25,000 Canadians own homes in Arizona, while 1 million more visit each year. Its governor wants the state to be known for more than a warm weather getaway, however. He's the architect of a 21st century economic plan that's attracting investment, partnerships, and business from north of the border southward to his state. Governor Doug Ducey freely admits that strong Canadian business relationships are vital to his state's economy. Canada contributes more than $900 million to Arizona's economy on an annual basis. When he was sworn in as Arizona's 23rd governor in January 2015, he inherited a $1 billion deficit. A year and a half later, the budget is balanced and business is booming. The Ohio-born statesman moved to Arizona to attend university, earning a finance degree in 1986. He helped launch Cold Stone Creamery, which developed from a local ice cream shop to an international business with over 1,400 locations. From business, Governor Ducey threw his hat into the political ring and was elected in a Republican primary in 2010, and he became state treasurer in 2011. Today, we're happy to have him here to speak with us about economic opportunities between his state and Canada. The governor has also kindly agreed to take questions following his formal remarks, so if you have any questions, please fill out the Q&A cards on your table, which will be collected by one of our volunteers. Governor Ducey, welcome to Toronto and to Canada. I hope that last night's Jays game was an indication to you of the tremendous spirit of our city. The Canadian Club of Toronto's podium is yours.
I want to say thank you very much to Fred, and I want to say thanks to the Canadian Club of Toronto for the warm welcome and reception. It's great to be here, and we're happy to have our entire delegation here. You know, Toronto has been very good to us, and as Arizonans, we're very much enjoying your weather. and we suspect and hope in a few months that you'll be enjoying our weather. That's part of the mission of this trip, and last night was a treat to show up in Toronto, and our baseball season is over in Arizona, and to be able to go to a sold-out stadium with a one-game playoff for the wild card with the roof open was quite a treat, and then to be in the Labatt's box to boot was a great way to make a first impression. I'm also thrilled that later today I'll be able to scratch another item off my bucket list, and that's to attend the Hockey Hall of Fame. With all the great Canadian contributions to the United States of America, from maple syrup to Molson Lager to William Shatner, in the Ducey household, it's hockey. And my three sons, Jack, Joe, and Sam, are very jealous that I'll be able to be a kid for a little while this afternoon, and am very much looking forward to it. Before I get started, I want to say a special thanks and acknowledge James Villeneuve, who is the Consul General of Canada, and Glenn Williamson, who is the Honorary Consul of Canada in Arizona. Would you two gentlemen please stand? Both are traveling with our delegation this week, have done an incredible amount to make this a successful and action-packed, productive trip, and they're amazing supporters of both Arizona and Canada, and I'm grateful to have them with us and all the help that they've been. It's a real honor to be here to showcase the special bond that Canada shares with my state and explain why Arizona is the best place in the United States to do business. The budding relationship between Canada, America, and the state of Arizona is not a coincidence. We are vast, diverse melting pots. We share a pioneering spirit, a sense of urgency, and a limitless drive. Arizona captures the essence of America better than any other state, and Canada, probably more than any other partner, complements our vision. During the 1980s, Prime Minister Mulroney and President Reagan demonstrated for the world the importance of a Canadian-American alliance that valued free trade, opportunity, and mutual benefit. In today's 21st century economy, Arizona's strong relationship with Canada is vital to our state's economy and to yours. Arizona's annual trade with Canada exceeds $3.8 billion. You're our second largest export market and our third largest trading partner. 1 in 20 Arizona jobs is the direct result of trade and investment with Canada. We are truly partners in a global marketplace, and the best way to be successfully globally is to commit to working together and continuing that partnership. There are currently 350 Canadian companies with operations in Arizona, including BMO, Silent, and they're thriving and contributing tremendously to our economy, and for that we're grateful. A great example is Bombardier Aerospace, which just celebrated 40 years in Tucson, home to the largest of its 9 worldwide aircraft service centers. They're a pillar of our community and a big reason for Arizona's #1 ranking in the aerospace manufacturing appeal. There are many reasons why our Canadian friends should expand in Arizona beyond our 360 days of sunshine, sunny winters, and world-class golf resorts. Arizona, as a right-to-work state with one of the lowest corporate and individual tax rates in the U.S., is open for business. And for those of you that are looking at other states in the lower 48, I would like you to compare us to Florida and Texas and other growing states. You'll find an attractive, hardworking, skilled, and reliable workforce. We have a $5 billion bilateral footprint with Canada, which includes foreign direct investment, tourism, and trade. We boast some of the most tax-friendly programs in the nation. No franchise tax, no estate tax, and no business inventory tax. And we recently slashed our long-term capital gains tax by as much as 25% for property acquired before 2011. After 2011. Additionally, beginning next year, businesses with multi-state operations will benefit from our 100% sales factor income apportionment formula. So if you're looking to expand, relocate, or start up, Arizona has got to be at the top of your list. Convenience and quality of life are also major reasons to hang your hat in Arizona. There are over 125 direct flights per week between Arizona and Canada. Commercial real estate is inexpensive, our housing is affordable, and our higher education system is strong. We also have access to one of the largest concentrations of science technology graduates in the entire country, as well as 3 of America's top 10 public high schools in the state of Arizona. And as any business person can tell you, the 3 keys to success are location, location, location. Canadian companies can benefit tremendously from Arizona's strategic location as a neighbor to the major markets of California and Mexico. Our low taxes and light regulations make us the perfect spot for Canadian companies wanting to access California without the expense and burden of operating in it. I believe that Canadian businesses, just like many businesses around the U.S., can expand in Arizona and see unparalleled success. A recent New York Times headline summed it up about right. Bay Area startups find low-cost outposts in Arizona. California tech companies and entrepreneurs are finding that Arizona offers much lower taxes and energy costs, about 25% less in Phoenix than in San Francisco. In the last 8 years, the exodus from California has brought Arizona 83 companies, $3.3 billion in capital, and more than 12,000 jobs. Companies like Weebly, Uber, Shutterfly, and ZipRecruiter are just a few of the big names to expand to Arizona from the Golden State. From Apple Corporation last year to Google Corporation last spring, innovators from California are now discovering Arizona. It's no surprise that we are now the top destination in the nation for the testing of driverless cars. And when it comes to biotech, I believe Arizona can and will be the biomedical capital of the U.S. because we have the ingenuity, creativity, and spirit of adventure that knows no boundaries. Innovative bioscience giants like TGen, Barrow Neurological Institute, and the Mayo Clinic are also excellent reasons for any Canadian business or startup to consider Arizona. Now, I know that Arizona has become a home away from home for some of you and a full-time home for others. For those of you that haven't visited yet, I'm here to personally welcome you. I'm certain you can find a slice of Canada in every corner of our state. If you come down and celebrate Canada Day with us, or maybe a great Canadian picnic, we'll probably recommend a Four Peaks brew, but you're certainly able to find a Labatt's as well. And as our friends in Winnipeg well know, live professional hockey exists in the deserts. And speaking of being a major export market, we are proud of one of our most recent exports to Canada, and that's Arizona born and raised Austin Matthews, the #1 pick in the NHL draft and a Toronto Maple Leaf. The point I want to make is this. In Arizona, no Canadian is far from home. We share the same culture, the same values, the same commitment to civility, and we always look to tomorrow. Arizona has always been a destination for those looking for a fresh opportunity or a new beginning. 70% of our adult population in Arizona came from somewhere else, including myself. I'm a product of America's homeland, Toledo, Ohio. And what I can tell you is this: Arizona is always looking to the future, always looking for new ideas, always changing, always improving, always embracing newcomers. That was true when I arrived at Arizona State University 30 years ago, never having been to the state and not knowing a single person. And I believe it's even more true today. Arizona is the startup state, and we believe that every entrepreneur has the opportunity to expand, grow, and reach the pinnacle of their industry. As a businessman and governor, I've had the opportunity to travel around my country and the world and meet some of the most amazing entrepreneurs on the scene. I've found few other countries that epitomize the spirit of innovation like the citizens of Canada. They work hard, they innovate, and they dream big, just like we do. And I would like to thank the historic Canadian Club again for having me here and hosting our delegation, and for connecting me with everyday and business people in Canada. And I hope to see many of you in Arizona soon. I look forward to your questions. Thanks for having me.
So again, if you have questions, please write them on the cards, and you can submit them to one of our volunteers. But I have a couple that I've received. The first one is, how do you see Arizona assisting the Canada-US-Mexico relationship, and in particular NAFTA?
So, you know, as a business person, I was trained at Procter & Gamble, and we were taught that you should take care of your existing customers, and that there is more opportunity with your existing customers before you begin to look for new ones. Our first trade mission was to Mexico. I was the first governor in the state of Arizona to go to Mexico City in a decade. They are our largest trading partner ×4. And it would almost seem, in spite of ourselves and the relationship that has been built in the past. So I am a huge believer, just as I referenced Prime Minister Mulrooney and President Reagan, of this North American trade corridor. And I'm a believer in free trade. I look at Canada as our partner. I was proud that we were called by a Canadian businessman today a border state of Canada. And that is how we'd like to be seen. We certainly are that way with Mexico, and we value that trade relationship very much.
Okay, so our second question. Canada is more than an interested observer in the outcome of your upcoming election, and one of your candidates is very clearly anti-NAFTA. So what advice do you have for Canadians looking to do business in the U.S. with all that's going on?
Well, I would say we're in the middle of a campaign season right now, and it's a unique campaign season. What I see as governor and someone who is new to politics, you know, I often say to my friends in the business community that I'm meeting a lot of nice new people in government. I'm learning a lot of new acronyms, but whenever I want to get something done, I really rely on my business experience. You know, the idea of setting an objective and charting a course. You know, what's the plan, and then who are the people that you need to bring around the table. We've seen a tremendous growth in our prosperity of our mutual countries over the past 30 years. I think that's something that will be important to whoever is our next president. I know there is a lot of discussion around free trade, which I am a believer in, and NAFTA. But what I would say at this point in time is nothing has changed yet. And this is what I think is really the value of the relationship between business people, country to country. I know that one of our candidates understands the value of doing business in Canada. He has a nice big building right down the street, I noticed here. And the other's husband was the architect of NAFTA. So I think that this will definitely be a battle. We certainly have issues in our nation that we must address around debt and spending and entitlement. And part of the reason I carve out so much time to talk to business people and attract folks to the state of Arizona is when we get the economy right, everything else that I have to deal with takes care of itself. I mean, that's where we really have available dollars for K-12 education and the most vulnerable children and the types of issues that we both face. So I think that this is a discussion. You have a Congress led by Paul Ryan that certainly understands the benefit of free and fair trade. And I think this is one to be determined, and you're seeing a lot of this discussion in the heat of a campaign cycle.
Thank you. So you've been in Canada for 24 hours, and you know, the Blue Jays win all the time.
They're 1-0 since I've been here.
So what opportunities leapt out at you first that you saw as being glaring opportunities between our two countries?
Well, first, this is just a beautiful city. This is my first time to Toronto, and it is gorgeous. I've spent a lot of time in Western Canada and in Calgary and Vancouver, but the amount of industry and commerce that you have here tells me, when I talk to Bombardier or to BMO, it's an expansion of these relationships. There's always going to be the trade and the tourism and the foreign direct investment. And we, of course, we love when you folks come down when the weather gets cold or purchase a home or have a getaway there. But I think it's really the business person to business person, entrepreneur to entrepreneur, understanding of these different markets, and then how in the trade corridor and the supply chain can we find opportunities to do more business together, knowing that you'll have my commitment as governor of Arizona, that you'll have predictability. You'll have an ever-improving tax climate. You'll have a reduction in regulations. You will have a right-to-work state in which to deal with. And if you'll commit to those types of reforms as well, I know it's a great time to be a business person and an innovator. I mean, the world is changing so quickly and in so many exciting ways, but we want to be a part of that, and we want to be part of your growth and success as well.
So this is an interesting question. If you want tickets to the Phoenix Open, should they get in touch with you personally?
I don't know how many of you have been to the Phoenix Open, but we have it the last week of January. It's the week leading up to the Super Bowl. It's actually the largest sporting event in the world. We had 633,000 people attend last year. On Saturday, 175,000 were out on the course. It's at the TPC, Tournament Players Course, Scottsdale, which is a stadium course. So you can see great golf. It's also some would say a celebration, others would say a party. There's music every night, and we'd love to come. It's a great time to come visit the state of Arizona.
Great. So this is a very interesting question. Who's going to win the election and why? and you got to be, middle of the road here.
Well, I in this political cycle, I have been supportive of Republicans across the board because I do think that limiting the size of our government is important. I think in so many ways Washington, D.C. is the problem. Washington, D.C. is trying to do more and more every day, and most of what it doesn't do very well. As a governor, as the chief executive of my state, and now having gotten to know many other governors in other states, both Republican and Democrat, I've met some highly skilled, very competent people. And I believe that if the winner of the election would push these ideas and programs and dollars back to the states, I would be able to do a better job taking people who are out of work and helping them transition into work, dealing with other vulnerable societies, as well as what's happening in our K-12 education system. So I think there is a greater chance for that to happen on the Republican side. That's actually a theory or a philosophy that we've lost touch with, called federalism in our nation. So we've been supportive of the Republican across the board at the Senate and House level as well. I think Paul Ryan has a tremendous plan for growth and putting ideas back into the states. And I think what I don't want to do is, I'll tell you, at any Arizona prediction in this last year, I've been accurate, 100%. On any national prediction this past year, I don't think I've had it right once. So we're not going to speculate. I think the second and third debates matter. I don't think this is over by a long stretch, and we'll know in a few short weeks.
Okay, thank you. So I have one final question. What, in your view, are the best sectors for Canadian companies to invest in Arizona?
I think our aerospace sector is an incredible sector. Like I said, we're ranked #1 in attractiveness, and I think our healthcare sector. I mentioned Mayo, Barrows Neurological Institute. We also have Banner Health that is in town, the Mayo Clinic, our care corridor, the Superior Doctors, Medicine, and Innovations. They're practicing at places like TGen, and as well as the medical tourism that we're experiencing in the state of Arizona is another very attractive sector. And the other thing that I think is really attractive about our state is it's incredibly diverse in terms of the business opportunity. I ran a franchisor and service company all the way to the folks at the genomics Institute that are mapping the human genome. You've got that kind of talent and ability across the board, whether you're going to frame a house or you want to find a job in the biosciences. Those all exist in Arizona. I think it's part of the reason we've had so many people move in the most mobile country in the world to our state is for those different opportunities, regardless of their skill set. And that combined with the successes that we're having in K-12 education and at the university level. It was fun for me last month. I was in Massachusetts, in Cambridge no less, and I was able to congratulate Charlie Baker, who's the governor of Massachusetts, on MIT's second place finish to Arizona State University as the most innovative university in the country. Those are the kind of breakthrough things and technologies we have going on in our state, and that's what I'd ask any businessman or entrepreneur or innovator here in the room to investigate and find a way that we can work together.
Great, thank you. I'd now like to invite James Villeneuve, the former director of the club, to formally thank the governor.
Thank you so much for coming and attending. And when we were planning the governor's trip, we, as a former director of the club here, I knew this was a place and a forum that we should come because it's a great place for interaction. And thank you, Fred and Lynn, for having us and putting this together. So greatly appreciated. I think as you heard from the governor, we have a strong friend as Canada's senior representative in the Southwest. We interact with the various governments there, and I certainly know Governor Ducey is a very strong friend of Canada, appreciates everything that's going on there, and I think more than anything else senses the partnership that's going to continue to grow. When you're doing things together, you want to grow, and that's what's going to continue to happen with us under Governor Ducey's leadership. Now, no trip to Canada is complete. He's already talked. We take him to baseball. We're going to talk hockey for a second. We're taking the governor to the Hockey Hall of Fame later today. And Governor, we hosted the World Cup of Hockey here a couple of weeks ago. Of course, everyone in Los Angeles with me was watching it. And Canada won, so we get to officially make you a member of Team Canada right now. So you get your jersey, and to commemorate the 2016 visit, there you go. Thank you. I think his three boys are going to fight over this when he gets home. Thank you.
Thanks.
Great. You're welcome. Perfect.
Thanks very much, James. I want to echo James' comments and thank Governor Ducey for championing strong relations between his state and our country. I also want to thank mediaevents.ca, Canada's event space, and VVC for live streaming today's event. To learn more about the club, please visit us at canadianclub.org. Thanks again for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at another of our events in the near future. Have a great afternoon.